Are we ready to go? Yeah. Okay. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Ethics Commission of the town of Chesapeake Beach. The full committee is present, as well as the clerk, and the person not present is our legal counsel. I have to add a few comments to having said that. I had spoken to the mayor and thought to clear the way that Fred Sussman, our previous counsel, would be reappointed. The mayor agreed to that, and it was in fact on the agenda of the most recent town council meeting. It was this past Thursday, but it actually came up, but the council was not willing to vote on it. Was they had seen an entirely new council after the last year's election. So we cannot argue with them, but it means that our first substantive agenda item, review draft of proposed revisions to the ethics ordinance, that is actually premature. I don't think it makes much sense for us to take that action before we have received the blessing of Fred Sussman. And we can go over it, and looking at it after we got the final official draft from Sharon. There are a couple of things that I would like to do, but it's not worth our time here for that purpose. I would like to, for example, I would like to eliminate some of the defined terms. Because one of them is, the word honorarium, and I don't think that needs to be defined. The word is perfectly well understood dictionary. But more importantly, I expect that Fred Sussman will come up with suggestion or objections. I think you might as well have this entire discussion so we can put this piece of paper
Rest.
to bed. Speaking with Sharon, would have called off this particular meeting. It was already in the works. Everybody had the calendar. So here we are.
So that was my comment. Actually, that's the only substantive agenda item that we have today. While we have the three of us together, why don't we agree what we agree upon, and then we give this to the council to review from the legal perspective, and then review his comments as in the next meeting and be done with it.
Or does the council have to be present when we're meeting? I'm not sure. I don't know.
Is that required?
Not sure.
I'm not sure. Is it required for the council to be present while we are
Deliberating, yes.
discussing the revisions? Because he hasn't been
No, no.
over the last several
No,
meetings.
I don't think that is contemplated. The council will deal with our draft proposal separately. In other words, once we have, get the blessings of our commission's council, and he'll come, I'm sure he'll come up with, some changes, additions, or whatever. For no other reason that he's a lawyer. Lawyers do that.
What I'm suggesting is that we do discuss the revisions among the three of us and come up with our collective set of revisions so that the council has a set of revisions that he can review it on his leisure and then come back with his comments, and we review the comments in the next meeting.
Well, I'm not convinced that the council will want to make, the council itself will make ordinance. I don't think it will rise to that level of importance. But that's just my present guess. They may want to fine tune it in some.
I meant the lawyer. The lawyer will review our collective comments. He comes back with his comments for our next meeting. And then in that meeting, we basically have the final version of the ordinance that can be forwarded to the town council. What I'm suggesting is that while we are together, let's take advantage of this meeting.
Well, there's one additional step that we have to go through before we send it to council, or after. We need the approval of the state FSB.
Fine, right.
And would like to have, to be able to say to the commission, paper that we are sending to you has met with the approval of our town council. Now, we also can reverse it, get the state's approval first, then we take it to the.
It makes sense. The former makes more sense. But at any rate,
okay, but for today, are we willing to go over the present draft one more time?
Right, so-
Everybody has had opportunities to and the final work product incorporates changes made by everybody, except some more changes that I would propose today if we decide to deal with it or at some later point.
the version that we have right now that Sharon distributed was my comments going through all of the ordinance. I think Greg reviewed that and essentially agreed with it. He may have some other
I
comments.
think you may have, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But we had some changes.
Just a few, that's just some radical things. That's what it was, but yeah.
Right,
I
but
agree with
we
you.
haven't heard your comments. I don't think we haven't seen your comments on the current version. So it would make sense to review your comments.
Let me take you through it first. I propose to delete a few more of our definitions. Oh,
Get back
thank
to
you.
the agenda and flag and
Turned 85.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Noodle is.
drying up, that's what it is.
All right. Please, have him rise for the.
Allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under
Okay, does anyone object to deleting these defined terms? First of all, the first one is deals with appointed bodies. I think yes. So what I said about my
Okay, but yes.
all right. Is the agenda approved? Anybody? Right.
Yes.
That can be put in the minutes. And any comments on the minutes of our previous meeting of June 16? Okay, no objection. The past minutes are approved. But now finally, to the meat. Agenda item for B, review draft of the proposed revisions to the ethics ordinance. We have we had a draft circulated, which embodies some changes from the original version I proposed early on when we started this process. The main draftsman was Farhad, who has done yeoman's work, putting this thing in better shape. There were also some changes fairly early on. Colleague to my right, and I am ready to propose or ask for some additional changes. There are not many, but I didn't want to actually make those changes because we have cumulative edits, and eventually it becomes unhandy. So the first of the defined terms applicability. It calls for a defined term, appointed bodies. And I think we will have to revisit that once we make a decision as to who should be subject to the public disclosure statement. And
Just as a reminder,
yeah.
you were going to refer the criteria?
Well, okay, let's deal with that. What we have here is, take that to be pretty much state of the art. I think I mean, it covers
Everything, yeah,
everything, you
Right.
know, all relevant factors.
right.
And
And this can become part of the ordinance. I envision that to be like section.
it can.
Right.
But you know, there are other ways how we can approach it. Let's stick with it. I had spoken with the town administrator, as I reported at a previous meeting. We here basically of the opinion that we don't have the sufficient factual information about who does what in town to apply these criteria. We just don't know. And the only persons who would know, and the person singular who is institutionally positioned to have the answers to these questions would be the administrator, failing which the mayor himself. And so I had asked do that. She declined and said, "No, that is your job, the job of this commission." Now, I don't think that is a feasible way, unless we want to sit down with a whole bunch of town employees and say, go down this checklist and say, do you do this or don't you do that? Questions, do you have any budgetary authority? And these are relevant questions because the purpose of the disclosure is to prevent, to the extent it can be done, that there would be conflicts of interest and other actions or failures to act in ethics ordinance. Now, there is, I think, one element relevant to the identification of the persons who have to file disclosures that is not covered by the page and a half. And there are some officers that the town must have under the town code. First, obviously, the elected officials, the council members, the mayor, and candidates for any one of these officers. In addition to that, the town code also mandates two officers that the town must have. One is our very own clerk, and second is a treasurer. The code also makes it not mandatory but optional to nominate the town council. And I think what the legislature had in mind was not the advisory office which we have in this town, but the legal counsel that you have in larger organizations, like the legal counsel is typically an employee of the self, and that is that wouldn't apply here.
Either at the time that you had that conversation with the town administrator, we did not have a set of criteria. I think now that we have a set of criteria,
Now
I
she
think
has it.
I
Send
think
it to her.
right. But now
Yeah.
we can say that, you know, go through all the list of employees, put a column next to them and say, do they have authority in this or that? This, I think that's something that she can do it in consultation with us, but this is not something we can do because we don't have insight. And
We don't
we
have
are,
the
and,
insight,
and,
no.
and we don't, we are,
That's right.
and it's not within our charter to understand.
But I asked her after your work product here was at our hands. I sent it to her and said, you know, these are the criteria which we consider relevant and determinative for the decision who has to disclose.
Right.
And I have received no comments.
So that's fine.
She hasn't
I think
done it.
that's fine. I think we should put this as part of the ordinance. It can be chapter whatever 6 or whatever number is at the end. And the revisions that we have in the ordinance indicates that the town administrator has to do this, and let the town council discuss it. And I don't think we can take that responsibility. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'll have to go back to her. Also,
What her reluctance is. What is her reluctance?
Why is she reluctant to accept that responsibility? Because it's very clear.
your guess is as good as mine. Obvious reason is it takes a lot of work to.
Not really. I mean, she has a list of all employees. I don't know how many employees the town has, 50, 60, 100.
I have no hesitation to go back to her and sit down and say exactly what you just.
Yeah, I make a list. There is a table. The first column, it says that it has authority over town funds and contracts. Just go down. Anybody has that, just check them off.
Yeah.
Has oversight on regulatory authority, check them off. Financial oversight, access to sensitive, legislative or policy making. And it does make it very clear that all the elected and candidates need to be included in this. So it's a fairly straightforward if you have the information and the knowledge about how the town operates. So I would.
I'm not. It may appear that I'm arguing with you.
No,
but I'm
I
not.
realize. Right.
You know, I think I only think that the administrator didn't fully, you know, understand what we're asking. But you know, she cannot expect us to make decisions based on facts that about which we are completely ignorant.
Right. But anyway, setting that aside, because that's already part of the ordinance changes that we are suggesting that the town administrator does it, and these are going to be the criteria by which that determination is made. I think we should go through your comments and find out, how we can address your comments.
As a footnote, one of the reasons that I'm very anxious to have for legal counsel's input holds equivalent positions in, or at least 5 or more other municipalities comparable to smallish towns like. So he has a bird's eye overview. What do other that could give us a perspective, not that we would not make our own minds, but something there that that Brett has encountered, and this works or this doesn't, or there's only problems inside of that kind. Okay.
Frankly, not to beat the dead horse, I think the only alternative to town administrator is the town council that has the oversight on the overall thing. If between the two bodies, they need to decide what to do, but not us.
No.
I just don't think that it's appropriate for us to be involved in that. Do you agree, Greg?
I agree, yes. And our
Okay.
job to do that, no.
Okay, so that's our position. We move forward with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
position.
Okay. Let me get back to my proposed deletion. We define the term compensation as well as compensation, contingent compensation for representation. I don't think we need that definition. I mean, compensation has a well-established. Also, we can cross out employer. We did cross out employee, but employer is still a defined term, and I think that is that term has a well-established meaning, and wherever it is used in our ordinance, it is clear from the context that the term refers to an employee of the town. I would move, we define at one point, quote, entity doing business with the town, and it explains what doing business means. I would move that to the portion of the definitions that deal with business. We also define honorarium, and I would like to cross that out again. That has a pretty well understood meaning. We also define obligee. That's sort of lawyers' English. You have the ors and the e's, like a lessor and a lessee. So obligee, it's it is clear that means somebody who is under an obligation. A public official, we don't need to say what a public official is. A public official is a public official. And finally, I would delete the definition of respondent. Now, that's not an everyday word, but it's a well understood meaning. Our definition of gift requires an addition. which we, memory serves, which we dealt with a couple of meetings back. The town now has a finance, election finance ordinance, and it makes clear that those non-gifts are permitted, they are lawful, and so our definition of gift, which ties in with an operative provision that says you cannot accept or solicit gifts. So we have to say a political campaign contribution is not a gift for our purposes. So that's.
I'm sorry, Peter, are you suggesting to clarify gift does not include political contribution?
Yeah, we
Right,
need
right.
a sentence there.
Right.
A political contribution as defined under the campaign finance ordinance of the town is not deemed a gift.
That's a state.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Yes.
One other change I would propose to make deals with the word chapter. It's listed in the catalog of defined terms, and it's correctly stated there that the term chapter refers to the structure of the annotated Code of Maryland, of which the town ordinances are chapters. However, if we are within the confines of the ordinance, we don't refer to it as this chapter. We call it this ordinance. And I think the word chapter appears in about a half a dozen operative provisions. And wherever the word chapter appears, we should should replace it by ordinance, or this ordinance, or the ethics ordinance, however it fits stylistically in the text. Otherwise, you read this as stated in this chapter. Wait a minute, what are they talking about? Chapter. Articles, we have sections, but our ordinance doesn't have chapters. It is a chapter of a larger. That's just. I think that is, according to my notes, all I propose to do.
So I had made a comment. This is more formatting and the appearance of the ordinance. And Sharon, this is on the first page. What I'm suggesting, it seems to me, would make the ordinance more compact, more readable, is use the regular formatting of, when we use letters, capital letters A, B, and C, that's the start of a paragraph. So A would not be on a separate line. It would be part of the line that, that's the paragraph, A. And if there is a subparagraph of 1, 2, 3, again, 1, 2, and 3 would not be on a separate line. It would be on the same, just the beginning of that bullet. Does that make sense? It's going to make the ordinance, I think, a lot more readable and less lengthy compared to what it is now.
In other words, you're making it almost like a Word document.
Exactly. Yeah, how Word formats it. You put in,
Anyone can read it. Yeah.
exactly. It's much easier to read, I think,
So,
that way. And it's also, by the way, the sub bullets are indented. So it's, again, when you look at it, you can see the indentation, and it's a lot more readable.
and it will look less like a legal document.
Exactly. Right. So that kind of applies to the whole thing. Okay. Well, frankly, I think the suggestions you have in terms of dropping some of these definitions make a lot of sense, and it makes it a lot easier. It makes it more condensed and removing some of the definitions that serve no purpose. Really, everybody has the same understanding.
User-friendly and transparent.
Exactly. Right. So what is the next step? Would the next step, Sharon, be a version that has incorporated all these that can be sent to Fred, that he can then review and say, okay, some of these things maybe we need to discuss, some of these changes? Or how do you see this best played out so that we lay it out in a way that makes sense to be published eventually?
You mean to take and incorporate your revisions today and then send that to Fred?
Yes. I think all the changes, right? So these are the collective changes that we have made. Now, would you send them in the same, with
The way it is now?
the way it is now, or would you clean it up? But I don't know which one makes sense. Or do the cleanup after Fred reviews it and comments?
It might be best to wait and let him look at it and, give his comments. He may just, suggest that, well, you should do this, or you should not do this, or, and if we've taken it all out, what we think, it doesn't give him the opportunity to take a look at it.
That makes sense. So he actually sees all the comments in their entirety, and then he can make further comments, and then that would be the time to finalize.
I think so. Probably looking at September before we meet again, because the town council meeting will be August 21st, and he'll hopefully come on board then. So,
Then when presumably that he gets assigned, if he does get assigned, then you would just forward that to him, or should or the commission? However,
I could do it beforehand.
all right, so we should be focusing on sometime in September to give Fred enough time to have reviewed and commented and sent the comments to us, so
Right.
that we have had a chance to see his comments
Right.
before meeting. So in terms of September, I do have some commitments. I know.
I mean, is that the extent you're going to go through? This year? Or is everybody happy with?
Yeah, I think we've all seen it enough times already that, well, we know what we're looking at.
We're not talking about August.
Well, Sharon pointed out that the town council, will not meet until August 21st. So Fred would not be assigned to this commission until then. And then, so she's suggesting that sometime
September.
in August, after Fred has had the chance to review our changes, he has made his changes and send them to us. So we review that and then we.
September, not August.
In September, yes. In September, we meet. So the question, I would imagine with what we just talked about, we are talking about the second half of September, right? So in terms of the second half of September, at 22nd is going to be hard for me. So would be, well, the 15th, it can work for me. 15th or the 29th would work for me if we want to keep it on Monday.
Right, the 15th.
15th? Would that work, Sharon?
I think so. I'll check the calendar, the town calendar, but usually when we do it during the day at 1
Oh,
o'clock.
I
like this-
apologize. Hold on a second.
Uh-uh. $15th.
Yes, 15th is fine. Peter is okay? Peter, is 15th okay?
Yeah, yes.
Should work.
The only thing that can happen is people handed from one man with a white lab coat to another. And all these guys are very busy and they only have time on
When they have
certain
it.
times. So that could come up and
Be
some
adjusted.
things that I would, some of these dates I would like to keep rather than
Mhm.
put them off. But right now it looks like I'm here. I have one question. What occurs to me that even if Fred Sussman has not been formally appointed, apparently will be the situation. We could, of course, invite him to sit here as a guest.
I think by 15th, we should, hopefully he would be.
Yeah.
Well, or if the mayor is willing to make the appointment, which I believe the only legal wording I was able to find is the current list of covered person, for the closure is the town's legal counsel and such other legal counsel as may have been appointed by the mayor. I think this is the wording of the ordinance. It doesn't say appointed by the mayor with the approval of the council. Of course, the mayor is perfectly entitled to ask for that approval anyway. But I'll talk to him one more time.
So let's, for the sake of discussion, let's say that we do meet on September 15th. We review and discuss Fred's comments in that meeting. Let's say we have some more changes, hopefully minor. Then I think that would be the time that we would finalize this ordinance to be shared with the council, with the town council, right? Would that be the process?
Does it have to go to the state first or to town council?
Does it need to go to the, after Fred's comments? And we discussed Fred's comments on the 15th of September. Let's say that we make minor changes, but the ordinance is in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
At that time, from our perspective, collectively, the question is that then it has to be sent to the state for review, correct?
It can be sent to the state either before or after it has been approved by the town council. If the council votes it in, then it does not become an effective ordinance until the state has given its blessing.
I would
And
suggest,
if the state refuses or imposes on further conditions, then the council's vote would be a waste of time. So I would go to the state first. And the only thing we should be able to represent to the state ethics commission is that, to the best of our knowledge, this is the version that the council is prepared to vote on.
right, exactly. And if they have any comments, we review those, but otherwise, or incorporating whatever comments comes from the state, then that version can be presented to the town council as the one that is put together by the commission, has been approved by the state, and it's just ready for a vote.
Yeah.
Okay. And we need to have all that happen before the end of the year? I mean, is that the target, so that for 2026, the ordinance is updated and all the disclosures, what have you?
If that's your desire.
Okay. Latest would be.
Yes, it depends on how long it takes the state with it.
Very well.
Any comments by the commissioners?
You're in good
I
shape.
think we have commented enough.
Some of us more than others.
Well, thank you all. Hopefully successfully talk the powers that be into seeing things our way.
Please do. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes.
All right. We are adjourned. We are adjourned.
Right, gentlemen. Enjoy